أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I want to mention a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and this hadith wherein the Prophet ﷺ gives the advice, and he says, continue thanking Allah for His blessings. Keep on thanking Allah for His blessings. This is in the Sunan of Imam at-Tirmidhi rahimahullah azza wa jal, and he said Hasanun Gharib. So now what we believe is that there is something as Ni'matul Ijad wa Ni'matul Imdad, and I spoke about this before. Ni'matul Ijad and Ni'matul Imdad. The majority of people thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah Jalla wa ala gives them the blessing, but they don't keep on thanking Him for keeping the blessing. You see, like at the very beginning when you have your new car, you park your car, and while walking away from your car, you look like 3, 4, 5, 6 more times at your car. Like this, you don't know why you do it, you just do it. You know, while you are walking is, oh, did I park it well? Did I close it well? And every time somebody gets into your car, you feel how it goes, mashallah, good engine, this and that. So, but after like 4 months, all of a sudden your car is a car. And then usually people stop thanking Allah. While keeping the blessing in your life is a blessing for which we need to thank Allah. And this is a shukru ala ni'matil imdad. This is the shukr or the gratitude for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing you to keep using the blessing. Because we speak about using the blessing because the ayah in the Qur'an says there is no blessing you have or it is Allah's. What does this mean? People always translate it as it comes from Allah. وَمَا بِكُم مِّن نِعْمَةٍ فَمِنَ اللَّهِ. But the min here is also lil milkiyya, meaning every blessing you have remains Allah's possession, remains Allah's possession. We are not allowed to do with our blessings what we want. And if we want to disobey Allah, then we need to do it with something which is not His blessing. But everything we have is His blessing. Our eyes are His blessing. Why do we use it for haram? Our ears are a blessing. Our hearing, why do we use it for haram? Our tongues are a blessing. Why do we use it for haram? If you want to do haram, then don't use His blessings. You see? So this is why they say, إِظْهَارَ الشُّكْرِ, yani showing that you are grateful for the blessings, and لا تستعين بنعم الله على مبارزة الله بالمعاصي, is that you do not use any single blessing that Allah has given you to engage in war with Allah, because it is a war we can't win. You see this? So everything, even your status, your name, the respect that people have for you, the love that your parents have for you, the way that your children look up to you, all of this is Allah's. The moment that He wants it to disappear, it will disappear. Not because He hates you, but sometimes because He wants to show you. We think it's so normal, everything we have in our lives, and then when it's taken away, we understand how important it was in our lives. And this is why, barakallahu fikum, one of the two biggest blessings are the blessings we have in our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّن خَوْفٍ. Let them worship the Lord of the house, yani the Lord of the Kaaba, yani the one who has safeguarded them against what? Fear, and has, how do you say this? أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ. I would say it, Saleh, please. Ustad Saleh. Fed them from hunger. So now these two blessings, that you're safe and you're well fed. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions these two blessings. Why? Because these are the two blessings which allow you to worship Him through extra forms of worship. People who are not well fed and people who live in fear, their biggest worship is saving their lives. Their biggest worship is saving their children and protecting them. They might don't find the time to pray at night. They might not find the time to do many other different things. But people who are in a state of safety and who are not hungry have no excuse whatsoever not to try to worship Allah through other kinds of worship as much as they can. And these two ni'am, are exactly the ni'am we don't understand how important they are, and usually we understand it when it's removed from us. We don't know what fear is. We don't know what hunger is. Ramadan, when you are hungry at 12 o'clock, this is not hungry. You know that you're going to eat at night. But when this arrives, you will see how blessed we are. We say the prices are going up. Are you hungry? You're not hungry. Are you safe? You're safe. So as long as we have these two blessings, we should be grateful. We now complain, oh, there's no milk in our fridge. Oh, there is no salt. Oh no, it's a bank holiday. The shops are closed and I wanted some bread. I wanted some rice. So this is why, barakallahu feekum, when we have these two blessings, safety and that we're well fed, we have no excuse whatsoever not to invest ourselves in worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more and more. Is that clear? Because maybe one day that free time will be filled with fear and hunger. And then our worship will be saving our souls. And what? Saving our souls. Because you die out of hunger and you're in a situation of fear because you fear for your life. And this is the situation of the majority of people on the face of the earth, not the minority. It is the situation of the majority of people on the face of the earth who are hungry, who are in a state of fear. Muslims in China, Muslims in Yemen, Muslims in Kashmir, Muslims in Syria, Muslims in Iraq, Muslims in Palestine, Muslims everywhere and non-Muslims alike. The worship of the majority of Muslims on the face of the earth today is saving their lives and filling the belly of their children. That's it. You see this? So this is why, barakallahu fikum, every ni'mah we have, the clothes you are wearing, the fact that you can see, the fact that you can hear, the fact that you can walk, the fact that you can sit, the fact that you can go back home now without fearing, has my house been bombarded? You don't fear that, do you? You know, normally that you're just going home, you find everybody there. How grateful are we? We got so used to getting into our houses, seeing our wives or husbands, seeing our children, seeing all of this that we think it's normal. No. It's an exception to the rule on the face of the earth, subhanallah. And we are taking it for granted. And do you know what the problem is when we take things for granted? Either our hearts and souls die or either Allah takes it away from us. Nothing more. So if we want to hold on and preserve blessings, wallahi, we need to express gratitude. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and if you turn away, I will replace you by other people who will love me and I will love them. So now the shukr is the fundamental of a true Muslim. It's gratitude, nothing. And I want you to understand this and myself. Nothing you possess, you truly possess. It remains Allah's. That's it. We possess nothing. So the ni'mah that we are allowed to use, like when you go back home today, you see your mother, you can hear your mother. Wallahi, the day that you're going to call your mother or your father, and that they say sorry, you can never talk to them any longer until you die yourself and see them in the hereafter. You will know what it is to talk to them. You will know what it is to hug them. You will know what it means to hear their voice. You will know what it means to smell their perfume, to eat their food. But now it's all for granted, and this is why we disrespect it, because we can't imagine ourselves that one day we will be without our wife, our husband, our children, our parents, our neighbors, our brothers, our sisters, a house, safety, hunger, or welfare. We forget this, and that's why we're looking for the pleasures of life, but subhanallah, all the pleasures of life are there. We are looking for happiness. Wallahi, the moment you lose it, you will understand you had everything to be happy. We have everything to be happy for. There are people who wake up and their child is dead. They know more than anybody else, how important it is to have them in their lives. You know, my grandmother lost first my father, and a year and a half later, she lost her husband. She said, losing my husband was terrible, but losing my son was even more terrible. She said, why? Because you never expect your child to die before you. You never expect this. So let us open our eyes. Wallahi, thumma wallahi, thumma wallahi. We have nothing to complain about. Nothing. And the things we complain about is a luxury for the majority of people. The things we complain about is a luxury. I don't have this, I don't have that. You don't need it. I recall having seen a documentary of a child in Palestine whose house was bombarded. And he was smiling. The child was smiling. SubhanAllah, they asked him, why are you smiling? He said, Abqani Rabbi darrajati. He said, my Lord saved my bike. My Lord saved my bike. And when you look at these people in Palestine, you see how strong their faith is and their trust in Allah. We have been taken care of for 20, 30, 40, 50 years without experiencing hunger or pain or fear. And our trust in Allah is gone. And they have lost so many things and their trust in Allah is strong. So who's suffering? The one who has Allah or the one who is without Him? Yani we, subhanAllah, after all of these years, what after the Brexit? What is going to happen to my money? What is going to happen to the jobs? What is going to... Allah has been providing for us for so many years. Why do we still doubt Him? Tawakkal ala Allah. Yani we need to put our trust in Allah. If I were to help someone for 5 years, and then after 5 years, this person gives me an indication that he doesn't really trust me. While you have been giving sadaqat, you gave him a car, you protected him, you visited him. You're going to say, what's wrong with you? Now Allah is looking at us. He looks at our hearts. He looks at our fears. He looks at our insecurities while there is no reason for it. This is not a state of shukr. This is not a state of thankfulness. So this is why my advice to myself in the very first and very last place is, let us open our eyes. Look at what we have. Never look at what we don't have. And appreciate what we have, and don't let us take it for granted. Why? Because one day either we will leave the blessing or the blessing will leave us. Either we will leave the blessing or the blessing will leave us. So let us cherish what we have. Let us love what we have. Let us express love for those who we have around us. Because one day when we will like to express our love and gratitude and appreciation, they will say the person is gone. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this beneficial. Ameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammad. I also ask